Okay, so this is specific contract and this is question number 2.1. Okay, you can pause and read this question. There are two questions for number 2.1. We will start question A first. Okay, so question A asks that is the loan contract between Mr. A and Mr. B is valid? Okay, so this is the answer. The loan contract between Mr. A and Mr. B is valid. Yes, the answer is yes, it's valid. Section 653 paragraph 1 is apply. There are legal principles stating that the loan agreements exceeding 2,000 baht with the written evidence is valid and enforceable. In this case, it is a loan agreement of 80,000 baht. So, and they're having a written evidence. Therefore, it is valid and enforceable. And the next part, this part is the capital part. And the next part is interest part. The interest part can apply section 654, which saying that interest shall not exceed 15% per year. When a higher rate of interest is fixed by the contract, it shall be reduced to 15% per year. And also the Act of Excessive Interest Rate Prohibition Act, BE 2560, prohibit the interest which exceeds 15% per year. Okay, according to the fact, the interest rate is only 2% per year, which means it's legal, and therefore, both of capital part and interest part is valid. So, the next question is question 2.2. You can pause and read the question. So basically, this question is asked that does Mr. K have to make any payment to Mr. M and why? Okay, let's see the analysis. Okay, start with the first section, section 653, paragraph 1, which stated that a loan of money for a sum exceeding 2,000 baht in capital is not enforceable by action unless there be some written evidence of the loan signed by the borrower. In this case, there are the loan agreements of 50,000 baht with written evidence. Therefore, these agreements can be enforceable against Mr. K. For the interest part, section 654 stated that interest should not exceed 15% per year. When a higher rate of interest is fixed by the contract, it shall be reduced to 15% per year. However, these sections do not apply due to the act called Excessive Interest Rate Prohibitions Act, BE 2560, which has legal principles stating that the interest rate exceeding 15 per year is illegal. It has criminal liability. According to this case, the interest rate is 16%, which means that it is illegal. Under section 150, the whole act is void because this is contradict to the law. However, it is void only the interest part, not the whole contract. Normally, it will void for the whole contract, but in this case not, because section 173 is applied. Even the act is void, the whole act is void normally. But in this case, if there can be assumed that the party intended to separate the capital part with interest part, so from the fact, it can be assumed that the party intended to separate both parts. Therefore, the capital part of 50,000 baht is valid, but 16% of interest part is void. Therefore, Mr. M will not receive any interest. Yeah. For the issue is when Mr. M wrote 9 in front of 50,000. That is forgery act, which is illegal. Both parties agree for the loan of money for only 50,000 baht, not 950,000 baht. Section 171 can apply. This section make us look for the true intention of both parties. According to the fact, both parties only agree for 50,000 baht, not 950,000 baht. Therefore, the agreement is only valid for 50,000 baht. Even though there are number 9 in front of 50,000 baht, but we look for the true intentions of the party. Therefore, 9 in front of 50,000 has no legal effect. In conclusion, Mr. K needs to pay Mr. M for 50,000 baht with no interest. So this question is question number 2.3. You can pause the video and read the question carefully. So basically, this question asks us to give an advice to Mr. P that he can bring Mr. S as a witness to prove that he has already paid the whole debt. Okay, let's see the answer. Okay, for this question, this is a verbal loan contract between Mr. P and Mr. Q of 15,000 baht. Under section 653 paragraph 1 has legal principle stated that the loan agreement exceeds 2,000 baht without written evidence cannot be enforceable. Yeah, and verbal of loan contract in this case is 15,000 baht without the written evidence to enforceable. Section 653 paragraph 1 did not apply because section 653 paragraph 1 only state about the loan agreements that exceed 2,000 baht, but in this case, it is only 15,000 baht. And the next section that related to this case is section 653 paragraph 2. It also can apply. Okay, decision 2 stated that no repayment of a loan of money evidenced by writing may be proved unless there be some written evidence signed by the lender or document evidencing the loan has been surrendered to the borrower or cancelled. This section doesn't apply because this section only applies to the loan agreements that written evidence needed to be enforceable. But in this case, there are no written evidence needed to be enforceable. So according to the fact, the verbal loan agreements of 15,000 baht, no need written evidence, even if Mr. P has paid the debt without having the evidence signed by Mr. Q, the lender, Mr. P can still bring Mr. S an oral witness to prove such payment. Yeah, so the final answer is the oral witness is acceptable. This is question number 2.1 for the question B. So basically, this question is asked that can Mr. B demand the default interest from Mr. A? And if Mr. B can demand the default interest from Mr. A, and what is the rate of the default interest? Okay, let's start with the first section that we need to apply is section 224, paragraph 1, which has legal principle stated that the default interest will be section 7 plus 2% unless the lender can demand higher interest rate for other legitimate grounds. Okay, for the section 7, it has legal principle stated that if it is a interest, right, the rate of interest is 3%. This is the current rate, which already amendment, yeah. And yeah, so basically under section 224, the current rate for default interest is 5% per year. And even if the parties did not agree about the default interest, this section 224, paragraph 1, still applies. Thus, the default interest shall be 5% per year according to the new amended law. Therefore, Mr. B can demand Mr. A the default interest rate of 5% per year.